A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan is brought to you by Gringos Locos, the award-winning taco and official taco of everything Tom and Dan. Go to gringoslocos.com and get you some tacos.
Also brought to you by Secured Roofing and Restoration. For your free estimate on your roof, go to securedroofingandrestoration.com.
Now, enjoy the show.
Ground floor, lobby, going up.
You know, we never really talked to Chris Gwaltney about cigars.
Yeah.
And
I know.
It's that's weird.
Let's talk to him about cigars today.
Okay, definitely cigars and only cigars.
Yeah, we got to do this.
69th floor, penthouse, corporate offices, studio.
Oh, yeah. It's a corporate time with Tom and Dan.
Tonight on a corporate time with Tom and Dan. Tom and Dan, welcome back. Chris Streamer, except it's Weird Job Wednesday. And Chris Gwaltney from thehumidor.com stops by. And here they are, the Macanudo and Rocky Patel of radio, Tom and Dan.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler is here. The fish tank broke again. It's broken again.
It's a reservoir.
It's so hard. It's so hard. We don't know what we're doing. And I got to tell you, who would have known that letting something sit in your office is so hard?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
It's a GD miniature ocean.
But what are we supposed to do? I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. Like, I just let it sit. They're like, put water in it, it'll be fine. So we put water in it, and it's broken.
It's not fine.
And they're like, you got to turn the dial. It's not a dial. It's a PVC pipe that I feel like in any direction, 1 degree opens a manhole of water pouring in, or suction, or it's too complicated.
The mung's back.
Yeah, the mung's back. We got all the mung. We've only had one of the fish. The only fish in there, I think we have one fish that's one of our original fish, and he's the little speckle fish with the bright red stoner eyeballs. He's hanging on for dear life, that poor thing.
He's been through a lot.
The shrimp are good.
Well,
they're stronger than
ever. They're rodents, right?
Yeah,
or they're basically like
cockroaches.
cockroaches. Yeah.
They're the cockroaches
They're
of the
waiting
sea.
for this poor little stoner fish with the red eyeballs to die, and he's just back there yakking and coughing and barely hanging. But he's still there, and then we still have our big, I think we have a blue tang or a, what is that, a dory fish. And that thing's mean as hell.
It scrapes its face all over the rock.
Yeah, it's got problems. It whacks its head against the rocks. Like, it's like, I'm crazy.
It's trying to kill itself.
Yeah, I'm not right in the head, man. That's my impression of our fish. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Before we start, I want to let you guys know about an app we're on. It's the Pod TV app. If you want to watch our show, just download the Pod TV app, and we're on there, and a bunch of other podcasts that also have video feeds are on there.
Indeed.
And you can check them out. Just search Pod TV in your app store.
There you go.
Do you want to start?
Sure. Get the button here, pop that up, and let's roll. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by StreamlineFlorida.com. If you're looking to refi or get a mortgage, use the Streamline team. Brian Zymel and his team are going to make it happen. And we've had hundreds and hundreds of BDMs refi and use or get their mortgage through Streamline, and they've all had a great experience.
Yeah, they really have.
And they really are a good company. So on the line with us,
we don't care what you've heard.
They really are good. That's what it sounded like. Sorry.
No. I'm saying that is because it's hard nowadays to find people who care about their work.
This
and
seems
their
to
job.
be a theme for you and I about the last month. We've
and they do care, and just talk to anybody who's used them. I mean,
their slogan should be Streamline Mortgage Solutions. We might care a little too much.
Yeah.
We care more than most people do.
Only good recommendations from all our BDMs.
Indeed.
Kerstrima, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm good. How are you?
Good. So
I didn't expect you to pop up on old Weird Job Wednesday. Don't you have your own bit? Wow, ego much?
Yeah, you're double dipping.
Wow, this lady's
Turning
got.
into EJ.
Yeah, you got to.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. You'd have to gain 1 million pounds.
So, Kerstrima, what is your weird job?
So I just resigned from a job, and I've been wanting to call and talk to you guys about it because it's pretty interesting. But I just quit, so I don't.
Oh my God!
I'm not going to say names.
You're the head of our Homeland Security, right?
Oh my goodness! No, I was a juvenile justice specialist for 4 years. That means I was basically a baby probation officer.
That's what my mom did. My mom did that.
I know.
Yeah. That is a really. That's a difficult, and my heart goes out to people because you see some bad stuff, but you're trying to do a lot of good with a lot of these young kids, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I started with a friend of mine. Well, we became friends. We started on the same day, and she and I were both like bright-eyed, like let's do some good. And then you start realizing that when you work for the government, unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't really go down. You have these people that work there forever, like the lifers, and they don't have the same ideals and the same care that you do because a lot of times people get comfortable.
Yes.
And like Tom and you've joked about that, the government job. Yeah, there are people that just do the bare minimum. They don't care.
They'll never be fired. They do not care.
Yeah.
They miserable. They maybe if they're not so much miserable, it's just they're like, this is going to be my entire. I'm going to do the bare minimum.
If you were miserable, it'd be extremely hard for you to want to do good for people in a job where you are trying to serve, other people, other families, potentially people that have problems and are trying to correct their way, right?
I don't even really blame them as much because they're like, no matter what kind of job I do, I will always make the same money. I'm going to get my 1% pay increase a year every 5 years or whatever. That you know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to get the
5% or what is it? 0.5%, 3% raise.
There's no moving up. There's no. This
How
is
did you get in? How did you fall into doing that job?
Well, I had been a teacher. I graduated with my bachelor's, and I could not find a teaching job in Oklahoma. And I found out really quickly that all the coaches, because football is huge here for high school, it's different than where I grew up in Florida. So I couldn't find a job teaching because I'm a history teacher. All the history teachers were men who coach football. Yep. So I was like, I got to think outside my box here.
It is Florida.
It is proven that most men know a tad more about history than ladies do.
I'm sure
they wrote the history.
Yeah, we wrote the history.
I'd love to hear Oklahoma high school football coach's version of United States history.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. I bet it's so accurate. And tolerant.
But
oh my.
Also, there's no way he knows anything about history, right? Like he knows. He'll hand out the homework.
cartoon? Do you guys remember the cartoon home movies that was on Comedy Central?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was like that weird.
Yeah, it was the weird squiggle drawing,
yeah.
but the way that they drew. Well, is it F. John Benjamin? Who's the guy that does the voice of Bob from Bob's Burgers?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that I got the name right or similar, but he used to do a character of a gym coach that was also the history teacher, I think, on this whole movie show.
Yeah.
And it is the quintessential tiny shorts, doesn't know anything, the bravado, always inappropriate.
It's great. It's great. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So, Kerstrima.
H. John Benjamin. Thank you. H. John Benjamin.
Now, working with juveniles that maybe have issues or going through the system or been incarcerated or whatever.
Had stories, man.
It seems It seems like the worst job in the world to me because Now, I understand there needs to be people that do this and care, because that's how it helps our society. And man, I give it up to them. They should get paid way more. And by the way, it would only help us all. Like, a lot of these problems can be stopped at before their life just is completely messed up and they're just in and out of the system forever, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now we just have lost young people that are in our society that turn to crime and affect us all. But no, we won't fix that problem. We'll just keep putting people who get paid $30,000 a year to try to deal with troubled teens.
Yeah.
Then a lot of them have mental issues that they need therapy and medication.
Yeah.
The whole family needs it.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
the whole family, not just the child, because that child's coming from an environment that is horrendous a lot of times. And sometimes they come from a great environment and you're like, what happened here? And a lot of times that's going to be your sex offenders. They make straight A's. The parents are very strict usually. It's like really weird. It's not. And then there's some kids that one of the things that bothered me is I would have like a kid that was in like the gang lifestyle, and because his parents were not supporting him. And so he was like 15 and doing that. And my boss would say things like, oh, we'll see him in the paper. He'll end up in prison. And it appalled me. I was like, how can you say that? Like, about somebody that, he's
they've
a
already
child.
given up. Yeah.
Yeah.
They give up on these kids.
Not to play devil's advocate, but maybe he meant as a superstar front page of entertainment.
Yeah, she was very negative, and the upper people, some of them were good, but a lot of them were pretty negative.
Yeah.
And it is a hard job because the worst part for me was reading police reports that are icky. I don't like to see that, but you have to understand the kid. And then I was thinking, well, I'm not going to be able to sit in a room with this kid knowing he did this, but they really are all kids. And then you realize, oh, this happened, this happened, and that's why he's acting out. Let's get him some help. So it was a good job. I really, but like Tom said, you can't move up, and I'm not all about making a lot of money, but I wanted to be happy, and I just wasn't. I did a lot of good, I think, though, for the ones that I could help, and I think the kids would say that about me. But I just couldn't deal with the
We have some of the children here that you affected. We didn't want to tell you this, and I just wanted to let you know that we pre-screened each one of them, and you are wrong. They had nothing but horrible things to say about you and what you did. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure you did a lot. Of course you did a lot of good for them.
So this is why it would dishearten me. And I think this is why most people give up. Because let me run through a scenario I imagine happens or in this kind of field all the time, where you meet with a kid, right? And he got in trouble for drugs, burglary, whatever it is. He's got in the wrong group of people, and you see him, and you're like, man, this is like a 15-year-old. I see the baby inside him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see 15-year-old.
Not if he's a boy, you idiot.
But I'm saying like
that doesn't happen.
You look at some like 15-year-old kid that's like he wants to play like he's hard and he's like that he's tough, and you're like, man, you're just a kid inside. But the environment has forced them to act
grow
like
up
this
a little quicker.
And the trauma, my God, you start digging any deep, and you're like, this person was traumatized horribly as a kid or whatever. So then you see, and then like, and maybe he's remorseful and he wants to like help him, and you're like, all right, I'm going to help this kid, right? I'm going to put extra effort. So you go beyond your normal pay, which is horrible to begin with, and you go and do a little extra because you care about human beings. Because people get into these positions because they care about human beings.
Yeah.
Social workers, people that do this work, they start caring. I believe everybody's like, you get in this job because you care, right? And the care gets beat out of you because of this. Yeah. Right, you go in there and then you try to help him. You go above and beyond. You check in on him. He's trying to get his life back, and he's doing his program, and you're like, all right, he's doing the program, and then the parents aren't really interested, and then all of a sudden you see like the parents completely stop contacting him or take him out of the program, or they screw it up, and then there's no money in the system to help him. He ends up back in jail, and then you're just like, oh my God. It's just
or back in that house. Yeah, back in the same house.
And then it must be like, well, there's nothing I can do.
Right.
Like he's in
a vicious cycle.
He's in a horrible environment. The people that are raising this person, they're traumatized. They're him grown up.
Well, some of the stories I would hear from my mom would be exactly what you're saying, except it would be the people in charge, like let's say parents, because the kid is getting help. It's almost like they are so selfish that they almost want to take that kid and drag him back down to where they are. You know what I mean? It's like they're losing their manipulative point. You know, they're losing something they can manipulate for their own good, and they don't want to see that happen.
And then there's mental illness sometimes, extreme poverty, and then you're like, oh my God, it seems like you can't even look at it because you're like, this is never. And then there's another one. There's just a person like him right behind him, and I can't understand
Christina,
how someone does this.
What was your breaking point, if you don't mind me asking? Was there a specific point that you hit, or how long did you end up doing this before you decided that's just, time for a change?
Well, you guys know I got sick. So when I was, I almost died. So at that point, I just looked at my husband and I was like, because my boss was. Never in 4 years did she ever say, I hope you feel better, never said anything like that. Like, she just didn't like me. And I said, I can't go back to that office environment and live with this toxicity. It was very gossipy. Anyway, but I wanted to tell you guys when Tom was speaking about...
I'm trying to think if Tom has ever said he hopes any of us feel better.
Just very cold environment.
Yeah, no, I know.
He hated the kids.
Like, would your boss walk in the mornings and just give a very cold yo, and then...
No.
Oh. You know what?
Didn't even get a yo.
Be grateful for what you get.
Appreciate the yo.
You know what? I appreciate the yo.
Sew that on a blanket frame.
But what it really comes down to, beyond all the money you're going to throw at it, beyond the parents, beyond everything, it comes down to something that either the kid has or doesn't have. And Sam has it, and I have it. And it's when you go through adverse experiences and you are resilient and you can overcome it, pick yourself up and move on. And that comes down to it. You either have resiliency
I'm a broken
or you don't.
woman, Christina. A lot of therapy.
But you got resilience because it's if
you overcame it.
Yeah, I mean, because some people, they get into addiction and they get into a lot of other problems that just make it worse, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Now, was there anything at all redeeming about this job? Because for me, I would just focus on the failure, and not even my personal failure, but like the system, the parental failure, all this failures.
Man, that'd be bad.
And then I'll just be like, everybody's screwed. I can't.
It's overwhelming. God, when you start to open it up like that, it's overwhelming.
Was there anybody that you work with, and then they actually they did it,
and you're like,
it worked. It worked.
Yeah, there were quite a few, but you learn to celebrate small victories. Like, a big deal is for a kid to get their GED.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I can get them through high school, great, So I took this one kid. He refused to go to school. They basically pushed him through middle school. They were like, we don't want him. And he was, like, old enough to drive going in to be in middle or a freshman or something. I don't remember. But he was really, really bad at school. And I tried to help him, and he's like, I just want to take my GED. I'm like, it's not as easy as you think, but okay, we'll go take it. So he studies for it. I go take him, passes it the first time. Didn't pass the 7th grade, but could get his GED. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So he's smart, but maybe just school or sitting in a desk isn't his correct way of learning. I think there are going to be a lot of kids, not conventional, just regular elementary school stuff. I'd like to think that most kids can stay in that form of schooling at least until they're, of age to leave that. But I don't think everybody has to go to college. I do think it's important for you to get through high school. Yeah, I think that's important.
Or go learn a trade or something.
Sure.
But I did want to tell you guys something funny. So you have to be on call a lot of times when you work in that field. Like a DHS worker would do the same thing. And they call you, and I would get calls a lot from law enforcement. And I got one of the last calls I got was late at night, and this officer, sheriff's deputy, called me and said, "Ma'am, I've got a juvenile that's out of control. He won't mind, he won't listen, he won't come inside, and Grandma is at her wit's end." And I said, "Okay, well, what did he do?" Because to get a child, they always want to get them locked up. The cops are like, "Oh, he's out of control. Put him away. Put him away." Well, the judge isn't going to do that for a kid unless they do something really egregious. Right. So I said, well, what did the child do? What's going on? Are there visible marks? This and that. He said, well, he threw a piece of cheese and hit his grandma with it.
Sorry.
The fact that you're doing the accent with
The accent
it
does
is
make it
so
better.
good. This is such a good character. He threw a piece of cheese at his grandma. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Is this a Florida story?
Yeah, lock him up because he
No.
threw a slice of cheese at Grandma.
I was going to say, that sounds very Florida, although cheese melts.
Oklahoma,
Yeah,
right?
Oklahoma, man.
It is Oklahoma.
Oklahoma cheese
But, yeah.
throwers.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
on the other end of it,
God, I'd
too,
love to have thrown a piece of cheese at my grandma.
I've
I didn't know what to say.
I've experienced this. I've seen this.
He probably did it for a TikTok video because they do that thing where you throw the piece of cheese at the baby to stop him from crying.
Yeah. Stop whining, grandma.
Yeah.
There are some teens that go through. I can only equate it to like it's a chemical imbalance because it is. It's like all these chemicals are being put into your body at puberty, and it's throwing your system off. And I remember I've seeing people deal with teenagers, and not in like a horrible household, but just went crazy and would like not like sneak out all the time, constantly getting in trouble, not going to school, like, and it's like, all right. It's not really. This is not a parental problem per se. This person's having some sort of problem. But I remember back then it wasn't like the therapy and all the stuff. There was like he's being bad or she's being bad, and we got to understand like this is.
You
And sometimes there's something going on with them that they might not even realize.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
get them some help instead of just being like they're a bad kid.
When people have chemical imbalances, they can't help themselves. They don't know what they're even doing. They think
Right.
they're doing the right
They're
thing.
still
or whatever.
children. Like they haven't fully developed their brains yet.
And so
Yeah, they're impulse control, all
Yeah,
that.
it's
May
all
does it.
Okay.
I see, I see her ride waves, and sometimes she's a complete a-hole, and it's just completely fatoots, out of control.
I've seen parents have to tie their kids to a chair because they're freaking out, like trying to destroy the house, like they're, and then I saw what happened. They're a perfectly fine adult now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it's like that teenage years, and then
Weird, man.
And then what happens is they screw up their life because they get up in jail, and then all of a sudden they got a charge on their record, and that's all in the system. Our system's horrible.
It is.
And so it's like
It is.
it's just you go in and out, and then these kids give up because no one's helping them, and it's like, oh God, it's so sad. And it's like, man, why don't we help this problem as a society? Like, I know we can move money from somewhere and put more money into helping people with mental illness, helping people in these scenarios get past this. Like, just maybe if you got them past this and they didn't fall into in the system, they can get out and then start paying taxes back into the system.
But kind of like what Christina said, it would have to get to a point where, let's say the cop that's calling her would be willing to reason with the kid a little bit more rather than just wanting to lock him up. The chat room brought
Some
up
of
a
them
good...
will. Some of them will.
But I don't even
I'm
blame
sure there's definitely
They're
good ones out there. Yeah, they're overworked. They're part of the problem,
and
the
they're
system
like,
problem too.
I'm not paid to be a mental health expert or a social worker or whatever, and there's no money for anybody. So it's like, I'm paid to be a cop. I'm going to lock them up, and they probably eventually give up too because they're just like, I complain
It
about
goes
this
on down the line.
Then I got to help my family. I just got to do my job, lock them up, and so it's like, man, what are we doing?
Wait, don't yell, lock them up. We went through that already.
You were Mr. Positivity this morning, and now it just all went downhill.
Yeah,
You
now-
started talking about the system.
So,
the chat room brought up an excellent point, though. They wanted to know, did the boy that in question, was he throwing a small piece of cheese, or was he throwing
Like a
wheel?
block of cheese.
Like a wheel of cheese.
I believe it was sliced, a Kraft sliced floppy.
Kraft
See, if it's floppy cheese, I don't feel like there's
that's
a
not even in the
problem
salt
here.
at
I
that
feel like
point.
that grandma's just
It
trying.
wasn't like she was injured, no.
Yeah, I think like she's just
No.
trying to get this kid some heat.
and also on the other end of this, like
What a pussy grandma.
These kids are a bad and a mess. And then if you saw them, they're Catch Me Outside, screaming Maury Povich. And I'm
well,
like,
she's
and then you're
okay.
like, slap their
I feel
faces.
bad for that girl.
Bad Barbie's
No, I know.
fine. She's fine.
Bad baby.
She
No,
is.
bad baby, whatever. She's rich.
It is, but it's
Well, she came out basically saying the same thing, is that she was branded this way, so now she's like, well, I might as well make money off of it because no one's
Yeah.
going to give me a chance otherwise.
But when you see the way they act, it makes you mad. You're like, throw them in jail because you're like, what are you acting like? You're you're doing all these horrible things and then just literally saying "f you" to anybody.
Oh, yeah, like the kids are like,
Oh,
I
I would,
yeah. All right.
I'm a baby.
Yeah, I'm a bad baby. Yeah, all those kids,
And
you
then
look
you-
at them and you're like, lock them up. I'm with
That's
it.
what happens.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
That's the cliche, right?
It's extremely complicated. we need to throw money at a society. We got to have Kastrima left because she couldn't take it anymore.
She couldn't take it anymore.
And guess what? Let me ask you, how much did you get paid? Were you making $180,000 a year?
Yeah.
Oh man, I started out making $30,000 a year, and I was able to move up to level 2. And the only other move I could have made would have been lateral. So I ended up making 37 something at the end, but it wouldn't have ever changed. And I don't, like I said, I'm not. I don't care. I mean, we don't have kids, so it's not like I'm trying to support a family here. I mean, we just want to live and be happy. And
what are you going to do now?
You can't live off that. Go buy a house in Florida. The cheapest house is $350,000.
It's a dump. Yeah. Oh my God! It's a dump.
Look what's out there. How much? How expensive everything is getting, and then it's like
crazy.
Nobody wants to work for that a hard ass job.
Especially, you know what? I would even take. Now hold on. Not everybody's going to agree with me, but I would even take like a hard physical labor job over her job because mentally.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it because, like, when Andrea was writing news stories for Wesh, it reached a point with the Casey Anthony case where she would come home in tears and just say, you know what, I know this sounds really weird, but I can't read this. I can't write this anymore. I'm over this. This is so sad. And all I'm doing is feeding my brain these horrible stories every day. And I'm I get it. It's bad.
Yeah. How many kids can you see in horrible conditions?
And you can't help them.
Ruin their lives. You know, like,
and you're limited.
Like, I'm just going to see this again. 30,000. It's like, not worth it. You're like, get me the hell out of here.
And some people can turn it off, and I can't turn it off. And I've learned that if you don't care a little bit at home, like with Andrea coming home, she's a wonderful person. She cares about people.
She does.
She, of course, is going to bring that home a little bit, but it comes a point where you have to learn how to shut it off at home, and that's hard.
And guess what?
I came home crying many nights.
Yeah, you can't ask people to turn that off because you're dealing with a child and you're trying to get them out of a bad home. Yeah, come on.
Guess what? The people that can turn it off, they don't care.
Yeah, there's the cycle.
And then these people don't get help.
If you're the best, you're the best at doing this type of job, and you can come home and like a switch, turn it off, you're a superhero. Because you're able to, like, I'm sure there is a couple, some people that are good at it, they can compartmentalize it, but it weighs so heavy on you.
No, they just turn it off all the time, even at work. They don't care. That's how they get through it, and that's how who ends up in these jobs as people that don't care because they're the only ones that can get through it. And then that's broken because now you have no one who cares, and the system gets.
So
broken.
What do you want to do now? Are you in a position now where you feel like you want to shoot for something you've always wanted to do, or are you going to take it easy for a little while and still heal up?
Well, I am. I'm feeling great. We're actually getting ready to move.
Hey, congrats!
Sorry, allergies today. We're going to move to Illinois. So if there's any Tom and Dan BDMs out there.
You know what? We don't even have one in Illinois.
Yeah, nowhere even close.
Not even around there.
Okay.
We only have 4, and right now it's New York, Texas, Florida, Georgia. That's all we got.
We're skewing us, you know.
But hopefully next month we're skewing for 7 members. Maybe you can be one of those.
That'd be great. Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe getting a certification. I'm not going back to school. Heck no, I'm not doing that. But I might get a certification.
Techno? You're going to start a techno band?
Well,
so I'm kind of like, Dan, you said it, I'm just going to take it easy a little bit and play housewife for a couple months and see what opportunities are out there.
Why don't you get an OnlyFans?
Hey, if I can make some money, I'm all ears. I need to.
Hey, if you're all ears, then
People are into that. Onlyears.com.
I like women with big ears.
Oh, yeah, I can lift my ear into some cake or something.
There's something for everybody. Send me the link.
Tom and I were envisioning that. That's why you heard that pause. Normally we don't pause. You're like, put cake in her ear.
Also, I heard they're hiring out there, so I think they're good.
Everybody.
I hear their jobs available. If anybody wants them.
I mean, I've been getting job offers like crazy.
I'm not even joking. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Anyway. All right, Kastrima, we'll talk to you later.
All right, love you guys.
All right, love you too, Mama. Be good. Take care.
Bye.
Yep.
All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
Did you know that you can test drive the all-new 2022 Bolt EUV and Bolt EV at Don Mealy Chevrolet, starting at $33,435? That's an excellent price to get into an electric vehicle. The Bolt EUV comes with a free home charger, including installation. That's awesome.
Also, they have the Don Mealy Chevrolet Blood Drive event on August 4th from 10 to 1 p.m. Free $10 gift card and a One Blood beach towel.
And August 13th and 14th, Sports Mitsubishi is having a 2022 Outlander test drive event. See the completely redesigned model and get a free Arctic tumbler with your test drive.
It's Sport Subaru and Sport Mitsubishi right there on West Colonial Drive in the heart of Orlando, and Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont.
Hey, Ding Dong. Fairvilla Megastore presents Sharking Lot Wars, the only mechanical shark riding contest in the greater Southeast. Hosted by the legendary Z159 Morning Radio Ballbusters, Hot Tub and Mini Fridge. Yeah. July 31st, 2021. Johnny's Other Side. Live music and ice-cold beer. With celebrity judges, comedian Ross McCoy, social media superstar and professional partier Mike Busey, the saddest man in the world, Tuttle, and the man who beat up Kimbo Slice, Greg Pooperoni. It's Sharking Lot Wars, July 31st. Johnny's Other Side, with the Hot Tub and Mini Fridge Morning Show. Fairvilla Megastore and Z159. The Toad. Lick it. Oh, my God. Greg Pooperoni.
In 2 weeks, corporate will be visiting our main conference room. Please dress appropriately. The fact that your sandals have a backstrap does not make them business casual. Thank you. It's a corporate time with Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. So, we just got some word.
We got an update.
From Tracy, correct?
Yes, Tracy Claus in our
and
chat.
she follows Jan and Jason on their adventures, and you could follow them on social media.
StartLivingLucky.com.
Yep. And we got word that they already gave up on their first episode because it was too hot.
We saw them Thursday.
Yes, and they were going to do a test run this past weekend.
Okay,
to just try it out the first time because they just bought it literally days before they came over.
Like a couple hours old.
And I remember when I was sitting there and Jason was like, "Oh, you could add an AC in the back." He was telling me how to do it, but it wasn't.
Right.
But it wasn't just like you could buy what you had to cut a hole and do. So it was going to take more than just you buy one and you put it in. He's going to have to do some work.
He wants to do like some and he also they don't have a lot of space and they want to keep it efficient. You know.
But they kept saying, but you got in. We opened the top flap, and it's cool in there. The breeze comes through. I'm like, nah. Like I was in my mind, and I said it to them, even on the show. I think I was like, that no AC is going to be a problem.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, dude, it's hot.
You know what it reminds me of?
Have you been outside?
It reminds me of when I go into a Marshall's or a Ross dressing room with a pair of shorts that I know are too small. Or know that they are the exact size and dimensions of my muffin.
Yeah.
That I'll put them on, right, and they fit. And my wife will be like, "What do you think?" And I'm standing and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, it'll work. You see what I'm saying? Like, it'll work.
You justify. Yeah.
It'll work.
I do. Yeah.
It will work. You're right. I could put those on, and I could walk around and have a day in those tiny shorts that are literally corseting my muffin.
Yeah, they'll cover my genitals.
They will cover my genitals. But is it ideal, and will it not drive me insane? No, it will drive me insane.
And will you punt them in the trash?
I'll punt them in the trash. It's like you're in there. It's like, oh, this will work. This will work. This will work is not what you're looking for.
It's like it's cool. Like it's kind of cool.
Okay. It's all right. You don't want the.
I'm like, nah. Also, this goes into, and I do this all the time. Know who you are, and I'll explain.
Oh God, the dog was in here barking.
What do you mean?
Apparently they were in there trying to sleep, and Tater the dog was barking out the window at a strayed cat or something.
Oh, they put their dog in there with them?
What are you going to tie it to the thing and let it sleep outside?
He said a stray dog tried getting in their camper because they left the door open at night.
It was
so hot, they left the door open.
Yeah, if you don't leave the door open, you're going to bake in your own bad breath.
And then you're going to get mosquitoes.
Oh, in a tent when you do this? In a tent?
I'm going to buy that thing for $2,000.
Oh, my God. Did you see that? A turd fly flew in my mouth and out of my mouth at the same time. Like, I was talking and I felt it touch my duodenum. It touched my duodenum. Is that on camera? It's probably on camera.
Might be.
And then it flew out like the Green Mile bee.
Yeah, it did. It like tapped the back of my throat, and for a split second I was going to barf.
One day we're gonna be like, I feel like turd flies with the green
Candyman.
Yeah.
I don't want to be Michael Clark Duncan. I want to be the guy that dates Stoddard.
So
Courtney Stoddard. What's her name? Courtey Stodden? Stoddard?
What is that? Is that still happening? That was
know.
you
No,
don't put that on the internet, bro.
No, she got bullied by old.
They got bullied.
You can't bully that guy. That guy's a weirdo.
No. Courtney goes by they, them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair.
the pronouns.
That's fair. If she goes by they. But see, you got to. Okay, that one right there is hard because I think a bunch of people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think we need a different one so I know the difference. Because when you say them or they got bullied, if you just said them got bullied, I'd be like, well, what are you, some short dumb redneck?
Yeah. There is,
Them got bullied.
Right, because I don't like.
Did you say
again?
Yeah, I'm
whatever,
not trying to be.
I'll say whatever.
Yeah, I'll say whatever.
I know you're not. I'm
What
just
they
trying to
say,
correct you.
they
so
got
you know.
bullied,
It's confusing,
and
it's
I thought
confusing.
you meant Courtney and the guy, the old man that dated her. And I was like, well,
He
F that
should have
guy.
been. Yeah, he should have been
Do you
bullied.
see where I fell into the
There
trap?
needs to be something. Yeah, it just gets confusing.
They plus?
It's
They
who's on
How
first.
about they plus? Or
something. Anyway,
you need something.
That'll get figured out.
Yeah, we'll get there. But anyway, for her, she was dating the guy, right? And he was in Green Mile. The
Yes.
old
They
man.
were married.
Yeah, he was the actor. Yeah.
And
Their
then
parents married her off their parents married them off at 16 to
And
that
then
old man
she
when
got-
he was like in his 50s.
And then she got bullied by John Legend's wife,
Tegan.
Chrissy Teigen.
Yep.
And then she
They tried to get it canceled.
Released all the
Yeah.
text messages of her. Like, apparently Chrissy Teigen would just message people and be like
She
her,
was
she'd be like,
terrible.
I hope you die.
Yeah, to a teenager.
Like in the middle of the night, you're married to John Legend and you're rich. Don't you have more fun things to do?
People are nuts, bro.
That's
Yeah,
a nuts
they
thing to do.
are.
Like,
Yeah.
look, if I'm Chrissy Teigen, I'm a rich supermodel, right? She's a rich supermodel. The last thing I'm going to do is message somebody in the middle of the night and be like, I hope
child.
I hope
Why?
you die.
Yeah, well, what's in it for you? I'm always like, just astounded by people's actions because I'm like, what's in it for you?
Yeah, why'd you
Like,
do that?
Why? Like, I understand it. Like, you're into
Did
yourself.
she attack
Do
you? Did
what's-
she hurt you somehow? I can see if it's a retaliation too.
I don't know. I've
If
stopped.
it's a retaliation, why am I even talking about
Yeah,
this?
it's bad.
I stopped trying to figure it out. But back to Jen and Jason giving up their dream.
They're basically Orlando's John Legend and Chrissy Teigen.
So this is not going to work without an AC. And
Let's buy him an AC and sponsor it, dude. Let's sponsor
I'm
it.
afraid
we can get Ganon the Magic Man to put it in too. He's fast.
I'm afraid this is the beginning of the end.
Well, we can buy that camper quick. Then, 'cause I'm in the market.
Because now I'm switching.
I'm in the market.
Yeah. Let's just be like, we'll buy it for half the cost of what they paid.
I'm in the market.
Now, is that seems kind of like a D-head thing to do?
No.
They need to get rid of it.
Yeah, they need the money. They need the money, and we're
Here, okay. So
you got two money carrying camping daddies ready to scoop that thing up.
is Jana and Jason, are they too positive? Follow me here.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, are they Tupac fans?
No.
And I was going to go, you
Well,
know
I know
what?
that. I know
Jason
Jana.
is a little
Thug
more,
life.
he's a little more Biggie, though. He's a little more East Coast.
So and it's great to be positive and great to be a positive person, and every time they come here, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this makes me feel good. And people want positivity, and they want to be hopeful, and they want to like feel good, and like they were like, they want to.
Well, Jason,
they don't want to give up.
Jason and Jana are completely authentic with their positivity because they're not saying life isn't hard, and they're not saying things will not be difficult.
Yeah.
What they are saying is, we're here for a good time, and we're going to do our best to enjoy this while we're here, kind of a thing, right?
And let's keep a good mindset while going through a bad time.
Yeah.
Because most people don't do that. I don't do that.
Hold on. Look on the bright side. Write that down.
Okay.
Right. Look on the bright side. Meaning, look on the sunnier side, not the darker side. Darker side of the moon, Pink Floyd.
But what happens, though, is they pushed through not having an AC.
They Tony Palmiotti did.
Because
What I mean is they bought this thing way too fast.
But
they went too fast on this.
Also, they were like, oh, it'll be fine with no AC. But they should have known that
They went too fast.
They can't handle the no AC because also
They could have gone tent first.
Well, according to our source, Tracy, they did purchase the AC. It just did not come in time, and they decided to go camping this weekend before the AC.
that's
like
they should have known.
Yeah,
like
you gotta wait. You gotta wait
till
for
all
that
your
AC.
parts came in
Yeah.
before you got excited. You
And-
went off half cocked.
Yeah.
And like I would understand the guys that just put on my roof, right? They can go camping with no AC because
Yeah.
they
Right, they've
are
acclimated,
tough.
yeah.
They are the toughest humans I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they work
They have the hands of Ninja Turtles.
in the most extreme conditions,
Yeah.
hot on
Yeah,
the roof,
yeah.
with the hot tar. Everything's hot.
That camper would be like a ABC beer cooler to them.
Yeah.
So if they told me like, "Hey, I'm going camping," I'll be like, "Oh yeah,
Have fun.
it's breezy. Like it'll be way better than what you're going through now." Jan and Jason, they're not roofers, all right. They've done all right for themselves. They have a nice house and they live
With air conditioning.
with air conditioning, just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
We're not used to no air conditioning. We softened ourselves. We can't do it anymore. I told my wife this. I was like, she suggested we try to go camping.
Aren't you guys doing that for your big 40th?
Yeah, but that's at least in February.
Well, that's a novelty trip.
But yeah.
I'm doing that one too.
I didn't
How many
suggest
days?
that.
How many days are you guys going to be out
4,
there?
right? 3?
No,
Ooh.
it's 2 nights of camping.
I'm doing that one, right?
3
I think
days.
I am.
Yeah.
Ooh.
With the kids, right?
Yeah, but we're not doing the 22-mile bring your own stuff.
That's what Andrea said.
We're doing.
Andrea's making Maisie do the first 22 alone. Just stick her in the canoe, just push it down the.
We're doing the whole thing where they bring your stuff to a
Good,
place
good, thank
and then
God.
you do a small little canoe. Yeah. We're not doing what we used to do. Yeah. I wouldn't do that with it. Now, I know at least I know I'm not doing.
My back can't handle it.
I can't set myself up for failure because it's going to be 100% failure. But good for Jan and Jason for at
Toughing
least
it out.
taking the chance.
Well, I think that they
didn't really tough it out. They gave up.
I think this is.
They drove
I don't
home.
think this is the end, right? And I'm a weirdo in that, like, when I'm sweaty, like I've always been I like it hot. I can remember back. And what got me thinking about this is Maisie's been going to these day camps.
You do like it hot.
I like it hot. And when it's like at Wakaiba Youth Camp, the one here in town, when I used to stay there, our cabin would get and I'd get sweaty. And for some reason, I can sleep well when my entire body is warm, like a little war dog.
Like a little old man.
Like a little old war dog.
Yeah. That's what, yeah. Like my Pop liked it hot.
Yeah.
He slept in his hot ass house.
I like it hot.
And I was like, God damn, Pop. Why?
Andrea puts the air down. Like last night, she had the air down like 76. I'm like, I am
76?
freezing.
That is
I go,
hot.
my feet are literally, they're blue.
I had mine on 69 and 2 fans on, and I'm still hot.
69?
69,
oh
baby.
my
Hold on.
God,
And I
what's
was
your
still
power
hot.
bill?
It's not that bad, but my bedroom is all the way on the opposite side of my air conditioner
69.
unit.
Yeah, that's
Jesus,
too
that
cold.
was
Yeah.
Cold.
No.
I couldn't sleep like that. I sleep with 3 blankets. I sleep a sheet, a blanket, a magic blanket, like one of those microfiber blankets on my feet.
Is that just an old man thing? The old women, because my Meemaw, her house is
Maybe I'm
cool.
going through menopause.
No, I
No,
like
no,
it
my-
cool. I mean, like when I'm inside, but for whatever reason, I'm just saying the quality of my sleep. If I'm kind of sweaty or kind of
gotta be cold to
hot,
sleep.
I can fall like in a hot car. If I'm in a hot car with the windows down, I can fall asleep like a bum. Like, I can't. It's like
That's an old bum sleeping on the floor hot, and I'm like, why do you got so
it's
many blankets?
comfortable. Yeah, if I can get my body to the right temperature, it's almost like my body's like, oh yeah, this is good, yeah. And then I'm out.
Okay, let's talk about where homeless people choose to sleep sometimes, because
Well, you know what I think
They
is
don't got a
weird?
lot of options.
You know what I think
That's
is weird
true,
is
that's
that they
true.
sleep where we can see them. Hide yourself.
Yeah.
Hide yourself.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Why are you just like you're literally sleeping where I'm stepping? Right? That's weird.
There is a homeless guy.
I don't want to step on your hair.
And I know I feel bad. What a blah blah blah. And just this
We know you feel bad.
I can tell by the way he said blah, blah, blah.
Well, what is he supposed to do?
I gave
Get
him-
the man's name.
I gave him
make a new friend.
I gave him a yo.
You gave him an
What else did-
unfeeling yo. Is that what we call
And
it?
appreciate the yo.
Yeah, that's all I got. Anyway, so there's a guy, and he's not out there all the time, but it's the same guy. and
Under
he's
the
there-
bridge? Over here?
He's there like, no.
Over by Kittinger Park, there's
Under
a guy.
the bridge is a good space to be, though.
Yeah, no,
If you're gonna be somewhere.
that's understandable. But this guy
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
is front of the BB&T Bank, which is next to my smoothie place I go
that's
to.
BB. His
at-
friend NT's not there.
And like there's a Starbucks there and the little tiny shopping center with a cell phone repair shop, a smoothie place, my smoothie place I go to, and a BB&T Bank. And he sleeps in the morning in front of the BB&B Bank window on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And then I
Probably
see him-
harasses people at the ATM, right?
No,
No?
I think
it
I
for-
never see him harassing people.
Okay.
He's asleep.
Is it better
with
to be
a
in
lot
plain
of blankets
view?
hot?
Maybe okay. I'm being serious with
Yeah,
with
but
talking
I
this
am
out.
without, like-
I think it's safer to be in plain view.
Oh, I bet.
Maybe
Yeah.
least likely to get
cameras, too.
fast stabbed.
Yep.
You don't want to
Yeah,
get
because
fast
I
stabbed.
think they get
People are
robbed.
mean to homeless people.
And other
I'm
homeless
not-
people
I'm not
rob
mean to 'em.
other homeless
Oh,
people. and
yeah,
stuff
for
like that.
sure.
And so
What
anyway,
are you doing? You look like you're cocking back to punch me in the face.
Whoa,
Are you
bro.
all right? Oh man, you got it this
got the
week.
corona
You
this
definitely
weekend.
got the corona from your
at a
friends.
house pack. I think you brought it up from
I
Miami.
could see it in your eyes. You got the Delta variant running through your veins.
Oh, is that why everyone's wearing masks again?
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
watching
yeah.
the news, but I was like, "Oh, the masks are back."
They are. They're back, baby.
All right.
We're closed again.
Over there, they were like, "Have you heard about the Delta variant?" I was like, "No, but I've heard about Southwest." They don't like they don't like my jokes. They don't like 'em.
All right, bye.
The next time you're in historic Sanford, Florida, man, you got to hit the L and go Sanfording.
Yep, hit up West End, grab a beer. They redid the entire West End. Is beautiful. Then after you have a couple beers at West End, walk down to Sunshine State Threads. Attached to the West End, grab a Tom and Dan t-shirt or a Sanfording
They
shirt.
got a ton of custom gear in there.
And then walk over to Celery City, and they have a huge outdoor area and all the beers you could possibly think
Don't
of.
forget the live music and craft cocktails.
Yep, it's the West End Trading Company, Sunshine State Threads, and Celery City.
And never forget, as I did, that people who represent you need your help.
It's a corporate time with Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. You know, we're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, and you can find replays of all of our shows, live video on YouTube. Same name, just search Tom and Dan Live.
Let's do some voicemail.
Yes, sir. I got a bunch that came in over the weekend. People love
partying this weekend.
Yeah, man. I was partying this weekend.
Dude,
you know?
the airport was packed. Like, I had not seen that bit because we dropped off the truck, and then I was like, wow. And I thought, like, oh, it's Friday, maybe a lot. And then I took the Grizz and his family. I dropped them off at the airport yesterday on Monday. And I thought, that's a Monday. You know, there's not a holiday weekend. It probably won't be that bad. Dude, it
Still
was
slammed?
Slammed to even get into it. Like, the drop-off area,
Yeah.
it was 3 cars deep. And I was like, wow. I haven't seen this. Like, it's full on. People are going.
If you know our airport here in Orlando, our main airport, it's really nice, but its letters are MCO. I have never been to the very top of the parking garage. I don't know how many flights I've been out of there. I don't know, maybe 50, let's say, 30, something like that. Never been to the top of the parking garage. Went all the way up to the top, had to go to the secondary garage. It was completely full. I'd never even been up there. I was going to parts of the airport I didn't even know exist.
Dude, it's packed.
Yeah, it's nutty. But let's jump into our voicemails. I'm trying to find ones that we have not done before. I got some old ones that I uncovered from an old file. So let's go with this one right here.
Hey guys, my name's Joey. I've called him before. Tom, you guys were talking about last week about this whole boat ordeal with your family. And I've got 2 stories. You can pick and choose which one you want to share. The first one, when I was 13 years old, it's vague, but I was not driving a motor vehicle yet. I was 13 or 14. We went diving down in West Palm, and I was not able to dive because of congestion issues. So my dad had me and my best friend following the flag on the boat. So They drop down. It's like a 60-foot dive. It's maybe a mile offshore. And as soon as they go down, the seas just, the storm, the squall, I guess, came in and just rocked us. I couldn't see a single thing. 13 or 14 years old.
That would be absolutely terrifying. So I can only imagine that his dad and friends are under the ocean.
Yeah, diving.
They're diving. You're up top because you got congestion, so you can't dive. That happened to me a couple times. You get a sinus infection, you don't want to go down. You'll hurt yourself real bad. And that would be
terrifying. The storm comes like a typical Florida afternoon.
I'd be looking around, Daddy. Oh my God, that's terrifying.
And then you don't you get blown off the dive flag, and your dad comes up. He's out at sea.
Well, he continues.
You get lost out there.
Yeah, let's see what he says.
And the craziest thing is, so my he had a 26-foot boat at that time. We would try to turn to follow the flag, and the wind would literally turn our boat full 360. I had no control over the vessel. So we, 45 minutes, an hour of fighting this, and I had considered just leaving them there because I could no longer find the flag. Fortunately, we had GPS back then.
You considered leaving your father?
So you Sanctum?
So wait a minute. Maybe Sanctum was right. You've been railing for years that in these scenarios, that's not what you do. Maybe
that's the instinct.
Maybe your instinct is to kill your own father.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe we got this wrong for years. We've gotten this wrong.
Maybe when tough times come, you're like, Dad's got to go.
Yeah, I wonder if just maybe
instinctually, evolutionary reasons, you're like, he's dead. Leave him.
So I was still watching where we were at, but they come up, and all that's left is calm seas and just gray skies. No rain, no 5 or 6 foot waves that came in, just flat ocean. The second story.
It's crazy that is what would happen, right? They'd get to the surface and be like...
And then you tell your dad what happened. He's like, don't look fine to me.
You're soft, boy.
One time we were diving West Palm again and diving a wreck called the Princess Anne. It used to be a ferry that would go across the Chesapeake Bay. My grandfather used to ride on it, actually. But we go down. I think it's 100 to the bottom there. But the current was ripping this day, and we didn't have enough line, apparently, because our dive flag ended up, 10, 20 feet underwater, enough to where the guy captaining my dad's boat lost us, and he was an inexperienced boater, and we came up to the surface to no boat, and we were adrift for hours.
Open water.
Someone found us, would not let us on their boat. They just drifted with us. And they were, fortunately, the guy was smart enough to at least be listening to the radio. And
I like the idea of not letting them on the boat for fear that they're going to overpower
That's
you.
Me, bro. That's me all day.
Yeah, I could totally
You're
see
not getting on this boat. I'll call for someone to come get you.
So let's say Sam pulls up on her friend Jessica's boat and you and I are diving. They ain't letting us on that boat. They're going to make us float all the way to the beach.
Wasn't this guy a kid at the time? It was like a guy with his kids. Who's the a-hole that doesn't let the guy with his kids on the boat?
Well, they're just scared, man.
People use their kids all the time to create crimes. I'm not letting your kid on my boat.
There's scuba diving. It's not like they're some sort of Somalian pirates.
Well, this is where we're at now. People are very untrusting. They think that the kid's in on it.
When there's a skinny guy with an AK and a John boat in the middle of the ocean, don't let him on the boat.
Also, kids are the scariest part of horror movies.
Norm brings up an excellent point. I wonder if, let's say Sam and Captain Jess, Captain Griffin Jess decided
she'd let him on.
To not let us on. Jess would.
Yeah,
Samantha,
she'd let anybody
Samantha's on. Bigger. She beat up Jess. I don't know how that fight would work. That'd be a good fight, actually. But anyway, so you got excited. So then at the end of the fight, they're not going to let us on, but then we go back later, we press charges on Sam. Maritime law suggests that you have to help us at a time of need. You have to let us on your vessel.
Who?
I'll call the Coast Guard.
The Coast Guard, we're waiting there, the Coast Guard comes up, and I'm going to have you brought up on charges. You're treating us incorrectly.
It's not my fault you got lost out at sea.
Who enforces maritime law? I feel like...
Mary. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I feel like no one, like, they say that a lot. I'm like, but who enforces that? Like, no one enforces it.
Yeah, it's like the FCC. It's like with robocalls and cursing on the radio. Like, nobody knows.
Yeah, but you can't do this. Why?
The International Maritime Organization is responsible for the security of all international shipping.
Well, who
they
is
enforce
that?
ships follow the safety procedures set by the International Convention of the Safety of Life at Sea.
So,
I almost screamed that's some BS,
now,
but the real words.
When we did have an altercation on one of the cruises that we went on, not a Tom and Dan cruise, but another cruise,
the FBI
got involved because I had to talk to the FBI.
So I think that's ultimately who handles it because it's like international.
He had a gun,
but that's international.
He had a gun on him, but he was a nerd.
Well, that's what
most FBI agents are.
They're nerds.
Yeah.
This guy's I mean, he had but he had a big oversized gun, as if to say, like, "Hey, I'm not a nerd." Like
I can tell.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. But I was like, I don't even think your arms can carry that. What is that? A Desert Eagle? You don't put that on your hip.
Yeah. And what scenario are you use this gigantic Desert Eagle?
It's a pistol, and the barrel is down to your ankle.
You're the Joker gun.
I do remember telling my wife, I was like, "That's a ginormous sidearm that man has. It's huge. It's like it was off-puttingly large. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of like
trying to prove a point.
Kind of like a ginormous truck with a sticker that says "Cowboy Butts Drive Me Nuts."
Or a Punisher sticker.
Yes, Punisher's classic.
Are you allowed to buy? I think we've asked this. Are you allowed to buy your own gun and use your own gun, or it has to be? They probably give you a list of ones that are approved.
Easily approved guns.
I think it has to be issued by the department that you work for.
But this one, because they have.
There you go, Jerry. Gold-plated Desert Eagle. Wow, I hit the lottery.
Yeah, because normally it's the standard.
Maybe they give you a set of options, and then he went for the big boy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do they give you it? Like, because,
no, I want a little. I want a little one that's strapped to my wrist, like in a card game, or that like a dainty debutante woman would have had back in the Wild West. I want a little Derringer.
Yeah.
You know, I want a tiny little concealed gun that I can keep under my frilly shirts.
And it comes out like the slinky that the kid from Goonies wears under his jacket, whatever that is.
Yeah, I want to open my jacket and have a novelty hand on a
By the way, those kids' inventions were stupid.
They were stupid.
One of them was that he had oil slick in the back of his shoes.
Yeah.
But to activate it, he had to pull two strings that went around his back.
Yeah.
And it went.
Where, do you put the oil in your hoodie?
It went down his legs, and then literally two strings opened up two flaps. Stupid. And then the dad.
I like that you're just ripping on a movie from 1986.
Okay, the kid, I give a pass because he's a kid. He's 8 years old. He's an idiot. The dad opened his trench coat, and then the damn the slinky the thing comes out, and a old camera pops out of his chest, and then it's just so it can he can hold it. It's stupid. Like, there's no real practical reason to even invent that. It doesn't even help you.
I agree.
Anyway.
You're talking about all the Asian kids in 80s movies being the inventor, right?
Well, the dad from Goonies, and there's like, this is my dad's best invention. Right. I understand it was supposed to be.
Dads invented things in old movies. Like, who's a better inventor, Goonies' dad or Rick Moranis from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Rick.
Is there any...
But he made a lot of mistakes.
He did.
But he built a GD shrink.
He built a goddamn... he brought, I mean, literally a laser that could take down countries.
Yeah.
You know?
Like a military-grade laser weapon.
Yeah, and then he shot his kids. They fall in love with an ant. Then they die. Then I'm crying. They're crying. You know what I mean?
No, there's an ant.
And F you, Rick, for shrinking the ant and making me give a damn about the ant. My daughter got a...
Shrink the kids.
My dad got an ant farm. Or my daughter got an ant farm.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, ginormous ant farm.
That's nerd.
It's
people want to know, Tom, what you think of Inspector Gadget.
Hey, guess what happened? Andrea dropped the ant farm.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Friday.
I don't like Inspector Gadget, not because of his inventions, but because he's French.
He's not French, is he?
I don't know. I think right.
No, he's not French.
I don't know that he's ever been French.
Clouseau.
Oh, God.
You're thinking the Pink Panther. Who's old now? This is an old man.
Wow.
Inspector Gadget, 80s and 90s. Clouseau, 60s and 70s.
What the hell?
I don't know. Anyway, but it was all just in the shoes.
It's got to be the shoes.
All your inventions are all in the shoes that are stupid. It's like, all right, the roller skates, the rockets, the everything in the shoes.
Remember the video game Spy Hunter?
And the shoes and a hat. That's all you got.
Well, the hat had a helicopter in it. How did you do that?
All right, it's
pretty great.
Yeah.
You know, the top of his hat would open, a helicopter comes out, then handles come out.
Yeah.
And he holds the handles. He's like takes
Steering,
off.
yeah.
That was dope.
He would not be able to. That guy's frame. His arms. Would
Rip his arms right off.
No, he'd fall off after. I mean, you know how hard it is to hold your body weight like that.
Well, his arms are robotic. Remember, they come
He's
out.
built like John Bustecker.
Oh, yeah,
he's
he's a
tall
robot,
and
right?
lanky.
I think he's bionic.
Right.
And is Penny his daughter?
I think it's like his niece.
Can you Google this before?
Yes.
Do we have to get out of here? What am I doing?
No,
we're
fine.
good.
So, but yeah, he was part.
It's
like,
his niece.
Android.
See, I'm more concerned about how the family fell apart. Because why is Penny living with her uncle?
Who is a robot?
Yeah, is her
Half
dad
man,
an
half-
alcoholic robot version? Like, because they'd be similar, right? Then Inspector Gadget
And was
has a brother
He
named.
is a cyborg police inspector.
Okay.
Let's see.
How much of his body was cyborg? Like, was his torso all human and just his
legs, his limbs were
It is his niece. Penny's his niece.
weird. I want to know what happened to his brother.
And the dog's name is Brain.
Brain. I remember Brain. There's Inspector Gadget. What's his brother? Billy Gadget? And he's just a drunk?
Oh, his brother was another inventor because they were a inventor duo. Like, you know, like
Oh, you're writing the backstory. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
And
All
then they invented something that killed the brother by accident.
Oh, and then he adopted Penny.
Inspector Gadget felt bad, and then it killed the mom too. I forgot it because they both had.
Well, he's dumb. Inspector Gadget's like an idiot.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The
So-
whole point is that he bumbles through, and then Penny solves the crimes for him, and then he takes all the credit, right?
Yeah. He's
and
a
then
bad
there's
person.
Dr. Claw. You never see
Dr.
him.
Claw, yeah.
But he's got the cat. He's got the cat that and he's next time, Gadget.
Yeah.
Next time.
Those
cartoons kind of suck.
Yeah, they all sucked. If I showed my sons that, they'd be like, "This is garbage."
Yeah.
They
You
do.
think so?
Well,
Yeah.
he was.
Or the
Although
Matthew Broderick movie?
He liked Pink Panther. But when he
Oh,
was
that's
younger.
right. You did say he liked
You got obsessed with Pink Panther, smoking cigars.
Well, he's a real man.
I liked it. I was like, why do you? If there's like, I couldn't even watch it. It's like he liked the stuff that it's either Pink Panther or some kid playing Minecraft. And like he's doing it to f with me because I'm like, this is garbage.
Maybe
the good current day cartoons, which are fine to watch, he's not interested.
Maisie watches Jessie. It's like a Disney show. She's all live action stuff now.
Oh, it's the live
She's
action.
watching like sitcoms.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Jessie. It's like these kids on madcap adventures.
Yeah. Sure.
Wisecracking teens.
Girls are more mature.
Yeah.
She's already like over all the animated stuff. She hates. She
likes some of it, but she's like really
Yeah.
into what's the movie with the red? They wear the red outfits. Handmaids.
I was watching.
Really into Handmaids. No, but she is into like it's funny. She likes to watch the older girls and like the fashiony stuff.
Yeah.
Fell into that.
Oh, buddy, it's coming.
I know.
It's gonna.
Let's try this one right here.
Hey guys, you're often talking lately about doing too much, and you guys want to scale it back, and you played a voicemail where the gentleman was saying he thought you should scale some back. I just wanted to add my 2 cents. I think the longer the shows, the better. I think the more shows, the better. I know that's not optimal for you, I'm sure, but I did just want to leave this message and officially threaten you with a lawsuit if you pull back any on your shows. There you are. Motowit on my side, I hope. Have a good day.
We get it. We got the emails. People didn't want us to pull back. And really, we were talking more about possibly not doing less content, but moving the content around to diversify the content a little more.
Like we're going to make all the ACT shows the Friday Free shows, and then Friday Free shows will now be edited and cut into small 20-minute segments and spread across the Monday through Friday ACTs. And all OG shows will now be BDM shows, and then BDM shows will now be NFTs that you have to bid on. Then once you acquire one, you'll have to get the code from me, and then you'll be able to download it.
We heard you. We're not going to scale back.
No.
Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. Keep going?
Yeah. Let's do one more.
One more. All right. Let's try this one right here.
Tom, Dan, Sam, and Butler. It's Canadian Josh. Thomas Chisholm Van, you take Adderall. If you haven't already done so, watch the Netflix documentary, Take Your Pills. I'm worried about you, buddy. You've got problems. You need to deal with them. I'll hang up and listen. Love you guys. PDM for life.
He doesn't even
Just
say
tell
anything.
us, Josh. Just tell us what it says.
He just plants that bomb and then pieces out.
Yeah, what's wrong with Tom?
Yeah, watch
I mean,
this
I know a lot
documentary.
of things, but
Watch this documentary to make you feel like
like you're gonna die.
Yeah. Make you feel crazy. There's a whole documentary, Dan, about people that can fly without being scared. Watch that and feel how inferior you are, you idiot.
It's about how pharmaceutical companies give us drugs to make us addicted to them, so we keep paying. I know, Josh. Like, what,
Yeah,
you
we
think I'm
knew
an
that
idiot?
already.
Like, I know what this is. Like, I'm legally going to a doctor, just like I get all my drugs, and I'm going through the process. I pay my monies, and then they give me the drugs that I want. Is that what the documentary's about? I know.
Yeah, we know.
I think so.
Like, I'm getting a little bit of meth, like a microdose meth. That's what I'm doing.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. And so, and I asked my doctor, I'm like, "This bad?" He said, "Nope, not bad." I'm like,
That's
"No,
fine, just a little bit."
He's a doctor. It's
He's like,
fine.
you take a little bit, you're fine. Don't take too much. Oh no.
This is
One
my
day.
this is my voicemail of the week.
What's going on, dude? It's Big Rick. So, Tom, I got to say, man, you are in the most hippest and most right part of town, man, because you guys are really stepping it up over there in Castleberry. I'm on the corner of 436 and Howell Branch, and just chef's kiss amazing. You guys have your latest addition to the area, which is a guy in the center median where the turning lane is, that is a magician / puppeteer / clown with full-on clown makeup on, and man, you guys are one step closer to flying cars and virtual massages. Just amazing.
We got to find the magician clown.
Also, I can't wait to find out where Big Rick lives. Someone in the chat room knows. Just tell me where he lives, and
are you coming to get him, bro?
I'll tell you what's wrong with where he lives.
I
I'll
like
tell
that.
you.
Yeah. I like that.
I guarantee you, it's not Windermere.
I like the I like the idea of a new segment you'll start doing called "I'll Tell You."
Yeah.
Welcome back to Tom Van's "I'll Tell You."
You know, it's weird. I have been seeing uptick. I saw it this weekend of a guy playing electric violin in the Publix parking lot. And I was like,
It's called craft OnlyFans. It's like they don't want to be digital. They want to be still like almost analog. So they bring it to you live via the sidewalk.
And so this magician, I'm assuming Rick is saying he's like somehow like panhandling or performing for money.
Yeah.
Like a street performer.
Or like a busker, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah, like a street performer or whatever. But it is odd. It's like, why do it there? Why not be in downtown or someplace that
Oversaturated downtown.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't
There's
see
a lot of them down there.
Also, there's a lot. I haven't seen too many street performers as much. Like in New Orleans, when I went there was the drummer guy. There was and in Key West, there's like the cat performer.
There's tons in Boulder, Colorado, too.
Gymnast.
The one in Key West was the one that I liked. Was the guy that had the glass box he would squeeze his skinny body into.
Those are fine, by the way.
Yeah,
too.
that
Like,
I'm all
like,
for that. My daughter's like, ew. I'm like giving him money. Yeah, this guy's great.
But that's like more for a city or like a party area, right? It's like
Yeah,
you
you're
go,
having a
you
beer.
watch,
I'm watching a skinny guy squeeze himself into a glass box.
Weird to do as you're driving through 436 in Castleberry.
Well, it's hard for me to sit and appreciate the entire performance when I was doing 60 through the town, and all I saw was you squeezing your leg in there.
yeah.
Plus, get
Weird.
a tight diaper when you do that. And make sure it's padded. I don't want to see your bell in when you're squished into the box. Get a bunch of your diaper. They always wear a diaper.
Yeah. It's a Speedo.
But sometimes it's a little loose.
Yeah.
Don't wear a loose Speedo. There's nothing sadder than a loose Speedo.
Be like, I can see your crotch hair.
Yeah, it looks. I can see it looks like you're wearing a leather bag for Dungeons and Dragons dice around you.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing that?
All right, bye.
Bart and Crystal Van, the Bart and Merrick team, buying or selling a home. Guess what? I got one to sell. So I am going to use the services of Crystal Van and Bart Merrick.
Yep, just go to barttherealtor.com. You could talk to Bart Merrick, Crystal Van. The greatest thing about using the Bart Merrick team is they have experience, especially during COVID, they have been buying and selling houses this entire time. In fact, basically, they were a little bit off the year prior. I mean, so they have the experience. They know the market.
And they know how to, you and your family can stay safe, still shop for a house, stay safe, and still sell your home. They know how to take the photos that present your home correctly. They know how to list it correctly, and they also know what things you might need to do to your home to upgrade it to get it to a proper selling level.
Don't use a realtor that doesn't have experience, especially during this time. It's the Bart Merrick team. They have the experience. Give them a call.
BartMerrick.com, Charles Ruttenberg Realty.
$15,000 deductible is kind of standard these days. And let's face it, where else are you going to go? It's a corporate time with Tom and Dan.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
Welcome back indeed. I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. We have a very special guest. And we love chatting baseball with this gentleman. We love chatting sports. We love basically talking anything except for cigars, which is what he specializes in at thehumidor.com. It is our good friend, Chris Gwaltney. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, let's try and not talk sports today for once, right?
All right, all right. We can try that.
It's not going to happen, though, because I know you guys are going to ask me about a certain sporting event.
So we saw you at the fights, which at this point in time, I just feel like when they keep trotting Conor McGregor out and doing these huge UFC fights, I'm like, I don't know, but Conor has seen, I think, his heyday already.
Well, I think I'm not an MMA, aficionado, but I think there's two. This is the way I look at it. There's two camps, right? You got the guys that were watching last week when it was basically the good fighters, and then you got the guys that were watching 2 weeks ago, which are the casual fight fans that want the spectacle, right? And I think they run the business that way. I think they run one version of MMA, like UFC MMA, which is the guys that all fight. And for me, I don't know their names. And then you got the guys that I know, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how they do it.
So, Chris, we saw you were out at the fights. Tell us about it, because on your social media, you were in the ring after.
That's cool, man.
And we were all like, well, how do you get to do that? I'm like, they're like, anybody who was walking by could jump in the ring after
Hey, you
the
want
fight.
to get in here, bro?
I'm like, he's got to know people.
Maybe that happened, though. I don't know.
All right, so tell us about it, Chris.
No, first of all, dude, I'm going to tell you, Vegas has become Florida. COVID does not exist anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some photos, and I'm like, whoa.
It's packed.
Let me just tell you that Saturday night, I flew into Vegas on Friday, and that night you had Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle doing a show together. Saturday night you had Garth Brooks at the football stadium, 60,000 plus. You had a sold-out arena, over 20,000 people for the fight. And then you had Bruno Mars sold out, I think, multiple shows at the Encore, at Wynn Encore. So, I mean, good luck trying to get a cab or a limo or anything in Vegas on Saturday. It was absolutely insane.
But these are the type of shows that you want to see before you die. Right? I don't mean to be morbid, but I'm just saying, if I'm gonna get it, I would better get it during Garth or Bruno.
That is a huge weekend, a fight weekend with Chappelle, Rogan, with all
it's the top tier. It's Rogan, Chappelle, and then you got to go Conor McGregor, Bruno, Garth. That's about everybody. That's everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you basically have two of the four. I mean, arguably the Mount Rushmore of comedians, especially when it comes to like cult following. I mean, there's no bigger cult following than and outspoken comedians than Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan. So that's crazy. And then of course you got Garth Brooks, who, whether you're a country music fan or not, it's hard to argue that he's not one of the greatest entertainers ever. Right?
Oh, well, I don't.
From an entertainment standpoint, putting on a show. Then you have Bruno Mars, which I have lobbied the NFL. Just let Bruno Mars do the halftime show every year at the Super Bowl.
Well, if he orchestrated it, he'd have the best of the best. He'd change it up. It would always sound different. It would always be fresh. Yeah, they do need to find like a musical visionary or somebody that always keeps it fresh, and then just go, look, you're the house band, sort of like what they used to do with Johnny Carson and all the big Tonight shows. Right. You know, you have the Roots with Jimmy Fallon. They're the house band. They provide the vibe. That's a great idea, to like find America's quintessential entertainer and go, You're the guy. You're in charge of it. Plan it out.
Bring in your friends. Put together the show.
Basically, the Super Bowl halftime show is basically Bruno Mars and friends, and he can bring in different celebrities from different music genres because he's so diverse. I mean, he can go in any direction of any type of music style. So, I mean, you could bring in heavy metal guys, you could bring in pop singers, you could bring in country singers, you could bring every genre of music in, and Bruno would fit right perfectly in with that.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that those two entertainers that you mentioned, Garth and Bruno, are very similar in the fact that they normally appeal to almost everybody. You know, like I like Garth Brooks. You know, I'm not a massive country radio fan, but I do love country music. And Garth, he's an amazing entertainer.
Yeah. So, Chris, when you're there watching the fight, you had to have been real close to be able to get into the ring after.
Yeah.
Tell us about what happened after the fight. How was the reaction to like McGregor breaking his ankle and that whole thing? And
or how was the reaction to McGregor saying that what's his name's wife? He was saying some nasty.
That was I see. I don't know how much of that came through TV, but it was. You could hear every word of it in the arena, and it was absolutely epic.
Yeah, like he started insulting his wife, like Conor McGregor. I'm blanking on the other gentleman's name, and that's very disrespectful.
Poirier.
Yeah.
So the funny part is Conor's sitting on the ring. His leg is basically, it's almost like a Dak Prescott-like injury where your foot's on backwards, right? So he's laying there. He's wanting to get up. He wanted to walk out of the ring. I mean, he kept trying to stand up, and they're like, no, you got to sit down. And he did not want Joe Rogan sitting on the floor next to him interviewing.
That was funny.
But when he started calling out Poirier's wife, telling her to stay out of his DMs, that it was a cheap win, that he broke his leg, he didn't check his leg, he didn't check anything, and that his kid wasn't his, and all this other stuff.
It was bad.
It was Poirier literally. I don't know if they showed this, but he actually went after Conor. They had to pull him off. He was trying to attack a man sitting on the floor with a broken leg, and Conor was like, "Bring it on, man! Come on, I'll fight you on the floor." So it was. The crowd was going nuts.
They should have just let him go. Just let him roll. That's where we're at now. But you just got to let him fight.
But Conor McGregor knows exactly what he's doing. Yes. He's like, he broke his leg. At this point, he knows he lost.
And he knows they're not going to let him come back and fight him on the ground.
It's the epitome of Skeletor telling He-Man, I'll get you next time.
Yeah,
all right, that works.
And then you're hyping it up to make another dumpster of cash. And like, he is basically turned into an MMA professional wrestler, right? I mean, building his character.
I think he's just bigger than the sport because the sport is fun, right? And that's kind of what I was saying earlier. It's like the sport is fun for the guys that really love oh my God, this guy's a tactician. Look at the way he fights. Look at the way he controls the match, right? But most people aren't that guy. Those are, even though there's a ton of those guys, that's still a small percentage to like the me's that I just want the spectacle.
So, Chris, then you're in the octagon after the fight. How did that happen?
You showed respect by calling it what it actually is. You know what? You're a good guy.
I was actually there with some folks that work with Conor on his spirit. He had proper 12 whiskey.
Sure. Okay, yeah, that's what I figured.
That's how we got into the ring. But no, it was awesome, man. I mean, it was really cool being down there. It also helped because we were able to let the crowd disperse a little bit. I mean, the place was packed, and so it was hard to get out of the building. But no, it was really cool. I went down there with Mary from marketing. She's one of the ones that does a lot of our helps with all the YouTube videos that we put out. And Mary is an absolute massive UFC fan. Her favorite fighter of all time is Conor McGregor. She knows she knows more about UFC than I could ever learn about. I mean, she absolutely loves the sport. So it was like a bucket list thing for her. So when she got in the ring, it was cool. I was like videotaping her because she was about to lose her mind. It was like a dream come true for her. I trust me, it was cool and I thought it was awesome. But the fact that she is such a mega fan, it was definitely a bucket list item for her. So it was really cool, man. It was cool being down there, and the undercards were great. I didn't get to see all of them.
Yeah, I didn't
see all of them. I got there a little bit later, but she showed up at the arena at 4:00 when they were just letting people in, and she was watching the very first fight.
Yeah,
so
they were great.
Yeah,
I
it was
watched
great.
almost all of it. When I bought it, and then and not to be cheap, but I was like, I'm sitting here the whole time. So I did, and it was really good. Yeah, me and my wife really enjoyed it, man. But it was cool. I wish I'd have known that you were there. I'd have been scanning the audience because they had a lot of famous people that you could scan for. Like if you scanned and looked for red ties, you'd find Donald Trump sitting there. There's all kinds of like super famous people that were there that you could almost play like Where's Waldo.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's like an old school fight weekend in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Where all the celebrities go out.
Yeah,
and
it seems
then,
old. Yeah,
and there's also, and I'm sure they plan it where you do these huge comedy shows and concerts and stuff, and it's just like, hey, this is a gigantic entertainment party weekend, and
it's like the cooler Olympics.
Yeah. So with Chris, with being in Vegas and seeing everything's open and I mean huge events going on, how does like the cigar scene play into that? Because like I'm sure some of the like high rollers, celebrities, athletes and stuff, they all like want to be seen out, and then like partying, smoking the best cigars. Like what is that scene? Like because I've never been a part of it, and I imagine that it's like it's a thing, right?
Yeah,
it's
you wanted
like
to like kind of describe what it's like.
Yeah, I would say that Vegas is obviously probably the most cigar-friendly city in the U.S. Just because of the casinos, right? I mean, Tampa's great. Tampa has Eborn. There's a lot of cigar shops, and you can smoke outside. But since basically Vegas, when you factor in the casinos, I mean, it's like a city. It's like cities within inside of cities. I mean, you've been in these casinos; they're massive, right? So you have all of this square footage. But more square footage of indoor smoking space than anywhere else in the country because you can smoke on the gaming floors and the bars that are connected to them. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to see the cigar culture. I mean, obviously, I'm there. We had our trade show that week as well. So the entire cigar industry is descended upon Las Vegas. So there's that faction of it. And it's really a good place to see it. And you see celebrities, not just smoking cigars at the gaming tables, but kind of hanging out in the little bars on the edge of the casino. And
because of that, like, do you find any massive like cigar shops in Vegas? Like, are there any like grandiose? Like, you got to go to this spot because they're basically it's like the Humidor but a building.
Yeah.
Right. I've been. It's so funny. It's like I'm in the cigar business, and I've only been to like 3 cigar bars in Vegas. There's because I like air conditioning, and I don't like going outside and waiting for cabs and going to places. But I have and there's so many cigars you can smoke everywhere that it's really no incentive to go to a cigar bar because you can just hang out at any bar in the casino and smoke. Right. But yeah, there's Casa Fuente and Monte Cristo have a lounge over at Caesar's Palace that are really nice. And then there's a Davidoff lounge at the right across from the Wynn and the Encore at that little shopping center thing that's across where the Benihana's is and all that stuff, right directly across the Sky Bridge over from where the Wynn is. And those are the only 3 cigar lounges I've been to. I'm sure there's other cigar lounges in Vegas, but guys, I'm trying not to leave that air conditioning when I get there. It was it was 120 degrees one day, and it's just like, nah, that's not me, bro. Give me that Florida humidity. I know everybody says it's dry heat. Yeah, well, dry heat sucks.
Yeah. It's like a hairdryer the whole time. Like, I like it sticky a little bit too, but I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, but you're in an oven on dry heat, and it's like, my God.
Yeah, it's kind of like, at least here, it's like, at least I got some moisture in my mouth.
So, Chris, now with things, events back, and we got NFL season coming up. In the NBA Finals last night, I watched the end of that, which has to be devastating.
Suns and 4.
Yeah, it has to
be. We predicted this yesterday. That guy's on Cameo, the Suns and 4 guy. Mm-hmm. And you can like purchase a video. I should check this morning. Sam, jump on Cameo and see if the Suns and 4 guy's there. Let's buy one. No, it's just Sons and Four Guy.
Okay.
All you do is put in Sons and Four Guy. Let's get a video of him today, and I want him to look into the camera and tell me, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have been punching people at an event.
He'll do it. He'll do it. Because this is his last day. Because
his last day.
All he's going to have is people bullying him now for a good, solid...
Let's buy one for Gwaltney. Hey, Chris, it's me, the Sons and Four Guy. I'm an idiot.
$74.
Yeah, I told you. Let's do it.
He's in there.
Put us in the queue. I'm buying one for Gwaltney, and I'm going to have this guy say, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm an idiot. I hate the Sons and Four Guy.
But the Suns fans have to be devastated after the hype.
Everybody was behind them, right?
Well,
it was like the final. Okay, remember the final?
Dude, LeBron James is at the games rooting for the Suns and Chris Paul, right?
I know.
So yeah.
It was like England versus Italy. You know, you had all of Europe rooting for Italy, right?
Yeah.
The only people rooting for England were England.
Yeah.
And they lost.
Yeah.
And there's 7 guys in Canada.
Yeah, it shows you that anything can happen in sports, and it usually doesn't end in a fairy tale, which is kind of why I was constantly betting against Tampa last year, because I was like, no way this happened. You know what I'm saying? Like this is too much of a fairy tale, but sometimes it happens. It's crazy, but for the most part, when you have a storyline and there's this push and public push and like the narrative of like, oh, they've got
they finally got it right. They finally got it right.
And the punchy guy, he said it, and that's a meme. And then he's gonna have
how much positive energy is behind it.
And then it's just like, it's professional sports. Things don't go your way. The momentum changes, and
you forget sometimes that on the opposite end of that, the Suns and Five Guy, this guy, look at all the energy behind us. That the other team might be saying, "This makes us mad. We're gonna win. We're gonna beat these fools now." You know, because
and also they're both trying as hard as they possibly can. So there's not really any motivational factors.
And I don't know about you, but you know I'm not a confident guy. But here's something I am confident in: if you and I are locked in competition, and I'm doing 100%, there's a weird thing where I feel like I cannot be beat. Yeah. And I think most people get that. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, I'm giving my all, I'm gonna win.
Chris, I've often laughed at like people like bringing up motivational factors, especially in like championship games. I'm like, everybody in the building is 100% motivated.
Well, except for Andy Reid, I feel like this last year or the year. I'm blanking because I'm having COVID brain.
No, last year.
When his son. I think I said that. I said I think that's going to affect him because that is not good. That is bad.
Yeah,
and I think it did.
It could have. Yeah, I mean, you can make an argument. Although you could also make the argument with no offensive line and
Tampa's really good.
And one of the best defenses in football. That's what made the difference. But it didn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Andy Reid could have probably not even.
It didn't help though.
He could have been 100%. Yeah.
I'm with you, man. That motivation stuff is good for high school kids, but this isn't Hoosiers. This isn't a movie. And it gets, who wins is the guys who shine in the biggest moments. And then there you have people that will, and a lot of people will say that Chris Paul didn't step it up. And then other guys with the Bucks, they rose to the occasion. When the lights were the brightest, that's when they were shining. And you had some guys that just it wasn't their night, whatever you want to say. They just picked a bad time to
it didn't work
to wilt a little bit, and that's basically what it comes down to. You look at the Super Bowl with the Bucks. I mean, it was obviously there was offensive line issues, but all it takes is one or two key guys to either get hurt or just not play their best game, and things get a little bit too big for them. And the other team it's not too big for them, and that's all it takes, man. Because everybody, once you got to that level, the talent's fairly equal. I mean, everybody's really good. There's no. So the thing that changes is whose players make the most plays. I know it sounds coach speak and everything.
But it's accurate.
Who plays? Who steps up?
Also, insane amount of luck involved that people never take into account. Like even watching the finals last night, the Suns had the chance to come within 4 with a shot and missed it, and there was a couple instances in the last 3 minutes they had a chance to cut the lead to 4, and then maybe maybe make it. You know what I'm saying? Like it got like, oh, if that went in,
it changes the whole.
Then it maybe it gets a little tighter, and it's like it didn't, and then that's it. And so it's like people discount like these small, ball gets tipped in the air, a ball bounces the wrong way. There's a lot. I mean, in sports, there's a lot of luck, crazy luck involved that people never take into account. It's like, man, that's a coin flip at some point.
But nothing will be quite as exciting or make me giggle, laugh more than when I was a kid, than when they were playing a big-time NBA game and the ball would get stuck on the side of the net. Like it would get in that
between the rim and the backboard.
And nothing made me more happy. I was look, it's flawed. Like, I don't know why that, to me as a little kid, I remember seeing that. I mean, like, you mean they didn't account for the fact that it could get stuck on the side of the corner? And I'm like, these guys are idiots. Basketball stinks.
So, Chris, real quick, humidor.com, use promo code Tom and Dan. You can get percentage off if you use our promo code.
This whole talking about sports thing is working because in our cigar group, those guys are crazy. They're humidor crazy. We don't even have to say much. I love it.
So, Chris, any specials that you want to promote? Anything? We're going into the end of the summer, end of fall. I'm sure once it starts cooling up again, I can't even talk about cool. It's
when
hot.
It switches, like August, September, when we start to get those weekends where it'll switch just a little bit. It's almost like football-y. That, to me, is when I think this year I'm inviting everyone over to my house, smokers on, and maybe we will get Chris to, maybe I'll try my first big boy cigar. Do it right. We'll have the smoker out, and we'll do it like back here. That'll be fun, man.
Cool. Yeah. Right now we have free shipping going on. No matter just what size of the order. Always some kind of specials. If you haven't signed up with the email, we don't send a lot of emails out, but I promise you when you get an email from us, it's a good deal. You can also follow us on social media, and we also post a lot of deals on social media. I just got back from a trade show, which means we'll have some new product trickling in. End of August, early September, some really cool exclusive items that were very limited and only made for this year's trade show. And if you weren't at the trade show, you can't buy the product. And that's some stuff from Padron, from my father. There's several manufacturers that did PCA exclusive. So I bought everyone I could get my hands on. So we'll have those available as well.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thanks so much. And hey, free shipping and you get a discount using promo code Tom and Dan. Is pretty good.
Do it.
Chris, we'll talk to you next month, and hopefully we'll see you in the Octagon soon.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man.
I don't want to meet him in the Octagon. He'll beat me senseless. I'm not having Chris beat me up. Are you crazy? Like an old Florida real man beating me silly.
He will beat us both up for sure.
Well, he's got that look about it. You ever looked at? Okay, I'm gonna throw something out there. I'm glad he's not on the line anymore.
When you smoke cigars, you're just a tougher person. I think.
I think so too. You know what I find, Chris? Like, have you ever seen? He's a very photogenic man. I think ladies look at him like his photo, the smoke rolling out of his mouth, and he's holding the cigar, and I'm like,
he's like,
and then I got a picture of me. What's that?
The coolest man in the world, or whatever. He's kind of like that. Right?
Yeah, the most interesting man.
The most interesting.
And what the hell am I doing? We're making up fake names, hot tub mini fridge. I got a fake cowboy hat on, fatter than ever.
We're gestures.
A Paul Senior mustache. What the hell is happening?
Yeah, we're clowns.
Gotcha.
Oh God.
All right, clowns.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening, and thanks to our sponsors, Gringos Locos, the official taco provider of everything Tom and Dan.
And roof problems? Visit securedroofingandrestoration.com for your free roof estimate today.
If you missed any Tom and Dan podcast, go to tomanddan.com.